What's up, guys? Another book review for you. Prosper, create the life you really want. Couldn't get closer to my own website if I tried, man. So the lifestyle, healthy, wealthy, happy, build the life you want. That's my motto, right? So this has been a really fun book for me to read. I feel like it's got a lot of this, similar content that I'm really into and trying to share with you guys. And then of course they add a bunch of stuff that I think is really valuable, and I'm gonna definitely transfer that to all of you. I'll just share some of my highlighted parts, things that I thought are valuable quickly, and if you like it, purchase yours from Amazon. I'll put a link here. That way I'll get a small commission. Usually it's only pennies, but hey, it's better than nothing. So he in the introduction, they talk about 6 principles of prosperity. Okay, so basically he says locate your Polaris point, or as I say in mine, you need to know who you are. Discover what your passions, desires, and things that bring you joy are, right? So, and then focus that in, narrow it down, and that's what you need to work towards. And then he says, number 2, live in your prosperity zone. If you're shooting for an undefined goal, an undefined level of finance, an undefined type of family engagement, or whatever the things are, your goals are, if you leave them undefined, how do you know how much money you need to make those happen? How, what type of experiences do you want to share with your family? Because quality time doesn't, that's an important word, but it doesn't really mean anything without a good definition. So you need to define these things so that you know how much money you need in order to achieve the things you want to do, right? To fund your lifestyle, where you want to live, the people you want to spend time with, what kind of time, right? Earn from your core. This goes kind of back to the Polaris point, but like if you're doing something that's really something you're passionate about, it'll come from within, right? Which will give you daily inspiration to keep doing it. As someone who's made money online, I've done niche sites and things, and while you can make some money, it's hard to keep it up. Like my brother and I built several websites. They were all random things, and only a couple of them were things we had any interest in. The others were just niches that we thought, well, the numbers add up. They're not super targeted, but there's enough traffic that we can make some money on them. And anyway, we did our research, and we thought, hey, we'll make some money here. And that was true. We made some money. We got enough traffic to get some clicks and do that whole thing. But there were topics that I was not passionate about. So as the competition grew, my desire did not, outdo that or equal it. It was just kind of like, I'm just gonna let those ones fade away and get rid of them, because it was not from my core, as he's saying, right? Something you're passionate about. Number 4, start with what you already have. So many people are trying to be someone else or achieve what this person has, or they're afraid to start their business because it's like, I don't have an MBA, or I don't have expertise in this area, whatever. Well, what do you have expertise in? Like you've lived your life so far, you had to have gained some sort of experience, assets, and things that you can contribute, right? Like you wouldn't be able to get a job, or you wouldn't be able to make friends, you wouldn't be able to play this sport, whatever, without a certain amount of experience and expertise and talent that you can share with the world, right? So in this book, one of these authors actually was really into baseball, or maybe it wasn't the author. Anyway, the story in the book, super into baseball, but and he had pitched a little bit for actually I think it is Ethan Willis. He pitched like for the minor league, for like the Dodgers minor league team, and then he moved on with life after a while, and eventually he kind of came back to that, like, I'm really passionate about pitching and baseball, and so his mentor kind of helped him understand, like, make money doing that, like, if you want to do it. And before he knew it, he was at the baseball field mentoring a random kid that he met there how to pitch. And before he left, that kid's dad gave him $50 for all the pointers he had given him and things. And so he was like, wow, I didn't even ask for money and I got paid. So then he started an online business and all these tutorials and things, and helps people. He makes a bunch of money doing something he loves. So start with whatever you already have. Like, what's your experience, right? Like, I'm passionate about reading like self-help books, things that are going to help me connect with my family better, make more money, and especially passive income. And then I like to talk about them. So here's these videos, right? Like, I never get tired of this because it's talking about things I like, and when I talk about it, I absorb it a little better. So it's like, it's win-win. I mean, it's wins all around for me when I'm talking about this book. And then if you go buy this book from the link above, I'll get paid for it, which is a passive income. So it's all really, I'm starting from what I'm already interested in, right? Doing this, reading books that have good ideas and sharing those and talking about them and selling them and everything. So commit to your prosperity path. So once you've laid out these things and identified what you're going to do and what's your niche and what's your passion, and really created some specific goals, you need to commit to it. Really write it down with, hand write your phrase that your name, commit to these goals and these things because of X, Y, and Z. And then he says, take profound action. I'm not going to explain that, but I mean, take profound action. Like, get serious about it. Don't act like it's a joke. Like, dive in. A quote that's not from these guys, but it's an unknown author, says, the journey to prosperity is like driving a car at night. You can only see as far as the headlights, but you make the whole trip that way. Like, I've written posts about these things. Like, it's almost like shining a flashlight around you. Like, you can only see within a certain circle. Like, if this is your knowledge base and your skill set and this is the world you know, well, if you're approaching the world with this perspective, you don't know what's beyond the light. But I can walk forward and see a little bit more. Walk forward, see a little bit more. Same with the driving, right? And so you kind of have to trust your instincts. You have to trust people you follow, mentors, people that have gone there before. Like, the biggest regrets people have are things they didn't do. There's a few regrets of, like infidelity or whatever. People regret having done something. But as far as like deathbed type regrets, almost the most common themes are like, I regret not, learning the piano. I regret not spending more time with my family. I regret not doing certain things. But the people that are, have this like super deep satisfaction with their life, look back on all the things they accomplished and they say, just do it. Just dive in. Don't let your fear hold you back. So you have to take that analogy and be like, look, I can only see so far, but everyone else tells me that the road ahead is good and they've traveled it. So I'm just going to keep marching along and I'll go through it. So, I mean, literally it's a cool analogy, and that's how life is. Like, you only know what you know and you don't know what you don't know. So you're going to have to trust some people and dive in if you want to achieve bigger, better things, right? Sustainable prosperity is based on the law of the harvest, the deliberate concentration of the life you want, and not just for you, but also for the communities in which you work and live. Now, you can make money doing things that only benefit you, or you and your customer or whatever, in a very superficial way. There's tons of stuff online to have this big. Google's getting better at getting rid of these things, but these big long sales pitches, and if you'll buy my product, I'll teach you how to become an overnight gajillionaire, right? And then you click the link and you pay $149 and you get a pile of junk, right? And it's not really that helpful and it doesn't do anything, and whoever was on the other end made $149. Well, you're not going to feel good about your life doing that type of thing. So you need to find that point where the needs of the world and your talent cross, and that and where it benefits the community, the people around you. And that's where you're going to have sustained success, because you'll always be motivated, you'll feel good about what you're doing, your values and standards are all in check, and you're doing something that benefits so many other people. For us, prosperity is a pursuit, not just a stop along your path through life. Don't tell us what you value. Show us your credit card statement. We'll tell you what you value. He's talking about some of his students who, he asks them their values, and they list all these things. But I mean, is that true? Like, do you really value your time? Like, think of your money as like how many shifts you have to take, or some people are working 2-3 jobs just to provide for all these things, and yet they spend so much money on junk food, Coke, coffee, like stupid things that you don't need. Look at your credit card statement and see what you actually value, and then think through that. Like, am I crazy? Like, do I want to spend the money on these things, or do I want to save it and invest it and create a passive income so that I can leave with my family to the beach and enjoy the time there and still make money, right, from my investments? Speaking of which, I'm going to do a quick video on just like some introduction to the stock market. I don't want to pretend to be your stockbroker, but I have spent over 20 years playing in the stock market. I got into it at an early age and have done I've done multiple types of stock investing, day trading and short-term investing and margin accounts and long-term investments and all these things. And so I just want to show you kind of a simple method for a beginner, how to just get in and make some money, and as it's a starting point for you. So anyway, I'll have that in a follow-up video, but that's neither here nor there. Here's another quote from the Buddhist tradition. The master in the art of living makes little distinction between his work and his play, his labor and his leisure, his mind and his body, his education and his recreation, his love and his religion. He hardly knows which is which. He simply pursues his vision of excellence in whatever he does, leaving others to decide whether he is working or playing. To him, he is always doing both. So that's the big theme of this book, is like getting into a job that both brings you satisfaction from doing the job and provides for all the needs that we all have, right, financially and for our families and those things. So let's see. People who emphasize generosity and selflessness and feel good about giving away a part of their prosperity tend to be happier than those who focus on obtaining more and more material goods. I've never met a selfish rich person that was happy, but I've met several rich people that are happy who use their time, talent, resources to benefit others. And that's one of my personal philosophies, and my goal is like, if I have the capability, if I have the abilities to make extreme wealth, then I should do so, because there's a lot of people out there who don't have those talents and skills, or maybe were born with certain conditions that don't allow them to really make a ton of money or relate to the masses and things. And so it's my, I think, obligation to make as much money as I can and help these people who can't. And that doesn't make me better than them. That's just sort of like, I feel like that's a calling of mine. That's something I can do to better the society. Now, since I brought up like people who've been, born with a condition that doesn't allow them to do what I can do, on that note, like I've also met, I know several families who have maybe, a person in their family with some sort of condition that I'm talking about. And those families are the kindest, most generous, loving people I've ever met. So like me being, having this focus on money is not better than that, but it's a different situation, right? And so I just want to be clear. I think that's my calling. As if I have the ability to make money and share it, I should. And they share other attributes and things that are possibly more, bring more joy to people's lives than what I'm talking about. So I think, if you are talented and smart and educated and have this ability to spot things that you can make money and impact the community and then give back, that you should. I think that's important, and it brings a lot of joy to everyone's lives, including those who make the money. Here's the last thing I'll read. Showing up means acknowledging that we might never feel quite ready for anything, but that we will nevertheless go for the big project, the big client, the big deal. When we show up big, big things tend to happen. The universe is not served by showing up small. There's another quote in the book that basically says that like our goals are not like, we don't screwing it up so bad. Basically that we don't like miss our goals because of obstacles, but because of other visible goals, like smaller goals. Don't get distracted. Like shoot for the big thing. Like I can't remember who said it, but basically there's less competition in the higher levels because like everyone else is sort of just meddling in the average, right? So like though we fear big things, we don't feel prepared for big things. Like literally there are fewer people shooting for excellence. So like there's still going to be competition, but there's fewer people in it. So like if you can find your niche and find your way, though you can't see it specifically, don't get distracted by these little things. Like even if it's a little minor goal, don't spend so much time there. Spend your time on the big thing. Shoot big. Aim for the stars and land on the moon, as they say. Like this book has dozens of questions in it, which I found super helpful as far as like analyzing myself. And there's one section, I just have a big old highlighted line down the side of every page because it's like multiple questions about, to reflect on, to help you understand yourself and your goals and sort of bring this big, massive monster of like, I want to be successful in life down to like, what is success to you and how can you achieve it? What business will help you get there? What are you looking for in your job? What are you looking for in the connection with the people you love? What are you looking for in your spare time? What are you looking for as far as vacation and travel? Like, so many good questions to help you do that. And I will add some of these things to the website. Just go to bronsonwilks.com and you'll be able to find these things. But anyway, very good book. I recommend this one if you're still sort of in that beginning phase of like trying to figure out where you headed, what are you going to do with your life, and or if you're in a transition phase. So many people in the stories they talk about are people who had that typical job. They got their degree, they got their job, they're doing their thing 40 hours a week. It wasn't satisfying, so they went through this process and found a new path. These guys are like life coach type people. So they have coached over 75,000 people in this program. So it's a good book and a good method to help you kind of discover who you are and where you're going. So anyway, I'll put a link on this post, and I'll put a link on the website. Head over to the website and see what other things we've got there. And thanks for watching. We'll catch you soon.